Right. Okay. Alright, guys. Welcome to the stream. Um, Today I'm gonna read the whole entire Bible, of course. It's gonna be 30 minutes long. And please read the scripture. No, never mind. And also enjoy right now, and enjoy. All right. Let's just start in 3, 2, 1. Go. Okay. I just gotta see if this is good. Okay. Starting in Exodus 21. No, actually, Exodus 21, verse 2. Hebrew servants. Alright, 3, 2, 1, go. If you buy a Hebrew servant, he is to serve you for 6 years, but in the 7th year he shall go free, without paying anything. If he comes alone, he is go free alone. But if he has a wife, when he comes, she is to go with him. If his master gives him a wife and she bears him sons or daughters, the woman and her child shall belong to her master, and only the man shall go free. But if the servant declares, I love my master and my wife and children, and do not want to go free, okay, then his masters must take him before the judges. He shall take him to the door or to the doorpost and pierce his ear with an awl. Then he will be servant for life. If a man sells his daughter as a servant, she is not to go free as male servants do. If she does not please the master who has selected her for himself, he must let her be redeemed. He must let her be redeemed. He has no right to sell her to foreigners, because he was not faithful with her. Because he was not. Because he was broken, faithful with her. No, because he was broken, he must grant her the right of a daughter. If he marries another woman, he must not despair the first one of her food, clothing, and material. Right, sorry, whatever that says. If he does not provide her with these 3 things, she is to go free, without any payment of money. Personal injuries. Verse 12. Anyone who strikes a person with a fatal blow is to be put to death. However, if it is not done intentionally, but God lets it happen, they are flee to a place I will designate. But if anyone schemes and kills someone deliberately, that person is to be taken from the altar and put to death. Anyone who attacks their father or mother is be put to death. Anyone who kidnaps someone is to be put to death. Whenever the victim has been sold or is still the kidnapper's possession, anyone curses their father or mother is to be put to death. If people quarrel and one person hits another with a stone or their fist, and the victim does not die, is confined, but is confined to bed. The one who is struck the blow will not be held liable. If the other can get up and walk around with a staff, however, the guilty party must pay the injured person for any loss of time, and see what the victim is completely healed. And see that the victim is completely healed. Anyone who beats their male or female slave with a rod must be punished, if or not to be punished if the slave recovers after a day or two. Since the slave is their property, if people are fighting and hit a pregnant woman and she gives birth permanently, or but there is no serious injury, the offender must be fined whatever the woman's husband demands and the court allows. But if there is a serious injury, you are to take life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, bruise for wound, bruise for bruise. And an owner who knocks out the tooth of a male or female slave must let the slave go free to compensate for the tooth. If a thief if a thief is caught breaking in at night and is struck with a fatal blow, the defender is not guilty of bloodshed. But if it happens after sunrise, the defender is guilty of bloodshed. Anyone who steals must certainly make restitution. But if they have nothing, they must be sold to pay for their fee for the theft. If the stolen animal is found alive in their possession, um, whatever ox or donkey or sheep, they must pay back double. If anyone grazes their livestock in a field or vineyard and lets them stray and they graze in someone else's field, the offender must make the restitution from the best of their own field or vineyard. If a fire breaks out and spreads into thorn bushes so that it burns stalks of grain or standing grain or the whole field, the one who started the fire must make a resolution. Anyone who gives a neighbor silver or goods for safekeeping and they are stolen, stopping from the neighbor's house, the thief, if caught, must pay back double. But if the thief is not found, the owner of the house must appear before the judges, and they must determine whenever the owner of the house has laid hands on the other person's property. In all cases of illegal possession, of an ox or a donkey, a sheep, a garment, or any other lost property about which somebody says, "This is mine." Both parties, both parties, both parties are to bring their cases before the judges. The one whom the judges declared guilty must pay back double to the other. If anyone gives a donkey, an ox, a sheep, or any other animal to their neighbor for safekeeping, and it dies or is injured or is taken away while no one is looking, the issue between will be settled by taking of an oath before the Lord that the neighbor did not lay hands on the other person's property. The owner is to accept this, and no restitution is required. But if the animal was stolen from the neighbor, restitution must be made to the owner. If it was torn to pieces by a wild animal, the neighbor shall bring in the remains as evidence and shall not require to pay for the torn animal. If anyone borrows an animal from their neighbor and it is injured or dies while the owner is not present, they must make restitution, or whatever. But if the owner is with the animal, the borrower will not have to pay. If the animal was hired, the money paid for the hire covers the loss. Social responsibility. Verse 16, chapter 22. If a man seduces a virgin who is not pledged to be married and sleeps with her, he must pay the bride price, and she shall be his wife. If her father absolutely refuses to give her to him, he must still pay the bride price for virgins. Do not allow sorcerers to live. Anyone who has sexual relationships with an animal is to be put to death. Whoever sacrifices to any god other than the Lord must be destroyed. Do not mistreat or oppress a forgivener, for you are not forgiveners in Egypt. Do not take advantage of the widow or the fatherless. If you do, and they cry out to me, I will certainly hear the cry. My anger will be aroused, and I will kill you with my sword. Your wives will become widows, and your children fatherless. If you lend money to one of my people among you who is needy, do not treat it like a business deal. Charge no interest. If you take your neighbor's cloak as a pledge, return it by sunset. Because the cloak is the only covering your neighbor has. What else can they sleep in? When they cry out to me, I will hear, for I am compassionate. Do not blaspheme God or curse the ruler of your people. Do not hold back offerings from your granaries or your vats. You must give me the firstborn of your sons. Do the same with your cattle and your sheep. Let them stay with their mouths for 7 days. but give them to me on the 8th day. You are to be my holy people, so do not eat the meat of an animal torn by wild beasts. Throw it to the dogs. Chapter 23. Do not spread false reports. Do not help. This is the laws of justice and mercy. Anyways, let's go. Do not spread false reports. Do not help a guilty person by being a malicious witness. Do not follow the crowd in doing wrong. When you give testimony in a lawsuit, do not pervert justice by sliding with the crowd, and do not shove favoritism to a poor person in a lawsuit. If you come across your enemies, ox or donkeys, wandering off, be sure to return it. If you see the donkey of someone who hates you fallen under its load, do not leave it there. Be sure you help them with it. Do not deny justice to your poor people in their lawsuits. Have nothing to do with a false charge, and do not put any innocent or honest person to death. If I will not for I will not accept I will not acquit the guilty. Do not accept a bribe, for a bribe blinds those who see a twist the words of the innocent. Do not press the forgiver. Your sleeves know how to feel yourselves. Know how to feels to be a forgiveners, because you were forgiveners in Egypt. Sabbath laws. For 6 years you are to sow your fields and harvest the crops, but during the 7th year, let the land lie unplowed and unused. Then the poor among you, your people, may get food from it. Do not, and the wild animals may eat what is left. Do the same with your vineyard and your olive grove. 6 days do your work, but on the 7th day do not work, so that your ox and your donkey may rest, so that your slave born in your household and the foreigner living among you may be refreshed. Be careful to do everything I have said to you. Do not invoke the names of other gods. Do not let them be heard on your lips. So what is verse 13 saying? Let me read verse 13 again. Be careful to do everything I have said to you. Do not invoke the names of other gods. Do not let them be heard on your lips. So what does that mean? What does that mean? So it basically means, so do not let other gods be saying in your name. So do not say other gods' name. Like, for example, if you say like Buddha, for example, and you put your faith in Buddha, it's the Lord will not accept that. Jesus, the Lord, the God of the only truth, holy, living God, will not accept that, and will not accept the person who had faith in Buddha, because Buddha is not a real God. And also, do not say other gods' names, because because Jesus Christ is the true God. Anyways, just keep reading. The 3 annual festivals. 3 times a year you are to celebrate a festival to me. Celebrate the festival of unleavened bread for 7 days. eat bread made without yeast. Without yeast. As I command you, do this at the appointed time in your mouth of Aviv. For that mouth you came out of Egypt. No one is to appear before me empty-handed. Celebrate the festival of harvest with your first fruits of your crops you sow in your fields. Celebrate the festival of ingathering at the end of the year when you gather in your crops from the field 3 times a year. All the men are to appear before Sovereign Lord. Do not offer the blood of a sacrifice to me, along with anything containing yeast. The fat of my festival offerings must not be kept until morning. Keep the best of the first fruits of your soil to your house, for the Lord your God. Do not cook a young goat in its mother's milk. All right, guys. Let's stop it over there. Let me just get this paper too. It's gonna bookmark this paper. But anyways, okay. Let's keep reading then. I thought time was already passed by. God's angel to prepare the way. See, I am sending an angel ahead of you to guard you along the way and to bring you to the place I have prepared. Pay attention to him and listen to what he says. Do not rebel against him. He will not forgive your rebellion, since my name is in him. If you listen carefully to what he says and do all that I say, I will be an enemy to your enemies, and I will oppose those who oppose you. My angel will go ahead of you and bring you into the land of Mordides, Hittites, Perizzites, and Canaanites, Hivites, and Jubilees, and I will wipe them out. Do not bow down before their gods, or worship them, or follow their practices. You must demolish them and break their stared stones to pieces. Worship the Lord your God, and his blessings will be on your food and water. I will take away sickness from among you, and none will miscarry or be barren in your land. I will give you a full lifespan. I will send my terror ahead of you and throw into confusion every nation you enthroned into confusion. That in you encounter. I will make your enemies turn their backs and run. I will send the hornet ahead of you to drive the Hivites, Canaanites, and Canaanites and Hivites, Canaanites and Hittites out of your way. But I will not drive them out in a single year, because the land will become desolate, and the wild animals too numerous for you. Little by little, I will drive them out before you, until you have increased enough to take possession of your land. I will establish your borders from the Red Sea to the Mediterranean sea, and from the desert to the Euphrates River. I will give into your hands the people who live in your hands, and you will drive them out before you. Do not make a covenant with them or with their gods. Do not let them live in your land, or they will cause you to sin against me, because the worship of their gods will surely be snare to you. Chapter 24. The covenant confirmed. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Come up to the Lord, you and Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel. You are to worship at a distance, but Moses alone is to approach the Lord. The others must not come near the Lord. Come near, and the people may not come up with him." When Moses went and told the people all the Lord's words and laws, they respond with one voice, "Everything the Lord has said we will do." Moses then wrote down everything the Lord had said. He got up early in the next morning and built an altar at the foot of the mountain and set up 12 stone pillars representing the 12 tribes of Israel. Then he sent young Israelite men, and they offered young Israelite men and offered burnt offerings and sacrificed young bulls and fellowship offerings to the Lord. Moses took half of the blood and put it in bowls, and the other half he splashed against the altar. Then he took the book of the covenant and read it to the people, and they respond, "We will do everything the Lord has said. We will obey." So verse 7 right here, verse 7. It basically says that we have to obey and do everything what the Lord says, because the Lord is our helper, and He is the only one who can save us from hell. Anyways, let's continue. Moses then took the blood, sprinkled it on the people, and said, "This is the blood of the covenant, and that the Lord has made with you." In accordance with all these words, Moses and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and the 70 elders of Israel went up and saw the God of Israel. Under his feet was a pavement made of lapis lazuli, as bright blue as the sky. But God did not raise his hand against these leaders. And the Israelites, they saw God, and they ate and drank. The Lord said to Moses, "Come up to me on the mountain and stay here, and I will give you the tablets of stone with the law and commandments I have written for their instruction." Then Moses set up with Joshua his aside, and Moses went up on the mountain of God. He said to the elders, "Wait here for us until we come back to you. Aaron and Hur are with you, and anyone involved with a dispute can go to them. When Moses went up on the mountain, the cloud covered it, and the glory of the Lord settled on Mount Sinai. For 6 days the cloud covered the mountain, and the seventh day the Lord called to Moses from within the clouds to the Israelites. The glory of the Lord looked like consuming fire on top of the mountains. Then Moses entered the cloud, and he went up to the mountain, and he stayed on the mountain 40 days and 40 nights. Alright guys, that's it. Goodbye. Goodbye. And let me just put it here. In the next part, we'll read chapter 25, Exodus chapter 25. Anyways, guys, goodbye. Wish you had have a great day. God is Lord.